Hey gang, welcome to Bugbears and Brews. My name is Brian and today we're recapping the 22nd encounter of our Tomb of Annihilation campaign. So this one here, we didn't play the week previously. I had some headache stuff going on, so we skipped that week, and so we didn't actually lose a week with not having a recap previous week. Just I was, didn't run. And then I'm really late recording this, so I apologize. I know some of the guys like to watch them over the weekend, that kind of stuff, but I don't have a good excuse, life. There's my excuse. So this was kind of the split the party episode encounter, whatever you want to call it. Started kind of two distinct styles of play. We had the group of three, which was Obrecht, Barlow, and Leorin. Those were the three on the chopping block for misbehaving while being slaves, while the other four members, Carr, Oric, Sai, and why am I forgetting somebody here? Wow. How am I forgetting? Navarre. There we go. Navarre. So Oric, Sai, Carr, and Navarre. Yeah. Those four will go a different route. So we're going to focus first on the first three I mentioned. So Obrecht, Barlow, and Leorin, you guys were kind of in the what we dubbed the sacrificial type chamber. Your heads are on this altar. There's a quartet of Yuan-ti around you guys, getting ready to make some fresh blood soup from your guys' skull cavity type area. And in walks Slithers, I guess. Slithers in a priestess. Or you guys are assuming it's a priestess. Barlow was able to identify that she was wearing an icon of Dindar, and that led him to believe as kind of a priestess type deal. She gave you guys a once over, kind of checked you out like you guys were pack animals or horses or something like that she's about to buy. And she said, you guys have survived the jungle. You've taken out quite a bit of the challenges in Omu. You have survived several of the temples, and so you obviously have some use, some skill as surviving, and it'd just be a shame to waste you in the sacrificial type situation here. So she has an offering for you guys. And you guys were more than willing to listen because you didn't want to be dead. And turns out that she's not a big fan of Raz Nasi, even though she was like behind him coming into power. She doesn't like the way that he is running things now and wants to overthrow him. And so she strikes up a deal with you guys that she will let you guys live with your, leave, sneak you out. Because to Raz Nasi, you guys are already dead anyway. So she'll sneak you out. She'll sacrifice 3 other slaves in your stead. That way, proper blood goes into the blood pool stuff. And then you guys can relax, recover, and then from there, head on and try to get what she is calling the Black Opal Crown. She lets you know that is in the inside of the Tomb of the Nine Gods. You guys agreed. Who would have guessed? And she handed you... Or she didn't hand you, but she said, you guys, you'll have your gear. You got to go rest for a couple days, regain your strength. You're going to hang out in the secret hidey hole that I'm going to stuff you in, and then just kind of kick back, relax, and then you'll get your stuff. She did let you know you'll have your puzzle cubes, and she included one extra one that Raz Nasi took for assurance of making sure whoever was trying to get into the Tomb of Nine Gods had to go through him at one point or another. So she has the real copy and replaced it with a fake copy. And that was it. So you guys were escorted out, went to this little secluded bungalow type deal where you guys were able to relax, recover, under guard. And the guards let you know that, 3 days time, because you had a couple of levels of exhaustion, that you guys will meet up with Fanthaza. Fanthaza is the priestess name. Fanthaza's agent in the field. They'll return your gear then, and from there you can continue going about and solving the riddles of the temples and finally get into the Tomb of the Nine Gods. So that's where we pause that story. You guys relax and rest in that kind of stuff there. One thing I want to point out, my Superman Slurpee cup, I'm not a big fan of Superman, but I love the cup because it's just big and massive, and You know, I got it from a Slurpee. Somebody was mentioning it one day, like thinking like I was a really big Superman fan. I'm like, no, I just like the big cup, and you know, does its job. It holds a shitload of water. The next group, you guys spent the next few days kind of like, oh shit, our buddies are dead, and then they took 3 other prisoners, and off them, chances of living here, surviving for a long period of time, not really good. So you spent your next 3 days, or next few days, kind of going over, trying to learn what you can, looking at locations that might be of some use, that you accessed during your daily chores. Tried to kind of get a little bit of the feel for guard routes, guard changes, what other prisoners might be willing to help. Uh, Really though, you didn't get a whole lot of help from the other prisoners. One of them was the little kid's kind of a narky situation. One of them was a bit crazy. In the end, the only one that seemed to kind of be of help was the Goblin Monk. And you thought he was a little off, a little out there. Carr was asking like, "Hey, Mung, what can you do to get us out here?" And he's like, "Dude, I get out of here all the time. I go to Raz Nasi's harem and I have a blast." And you guys are, whatever. And he's like, "Oh no, seriously, let's go, let's do this." And so he got out. You guys didn't believe him, so he managed to somehow get out. And looking up over at Carr, like, "Hey, I'm gonna go and do this whole thing." And the guy, Carr's like, "Well, we want to escape." And Carr's like, so yeah, Carr's talking about we want to escape, and Mung's like, "Well, I want to go to the harem. So you guys run interference and cause a muck, run amok, and I'll go visit the harem and get back in before anybody catches me. It'll be good." And then he dropped down into you guys some little seeds or something like that. You guys didn't quite get a good glance at what they are. And you had to do some dex checks to catch them, and they restored certain levels of your exhaustion. I think everybody but Navarre caught all 3 of them. And he explained it as you can't go into the harem feeling exhausted. So you got to be full of energy. So he had these pills to remove the exhaustion. They weren't little blue pills or anything like that, but we had a couple jokes about that. So he stepped away, went into this weird teleporter thing, and vanished. You guys were like, we don't quite trust that because you've seen several of those teleporters around. You're not sure where they quite led to, and so there's a chance you could ride up someplace you didn't want to be. So you just said, let's just leave that and we'll sneak out the old-fashioned way. Luckily, Mung, before he did leave, because he wants you guys to cause a big diversion, he wound up getting the cell unlocked. All this kind of took place around like a guard change here. And because you were in cells or pits in the ground, the Yuan-ti weren't really that strong on keeping a good eye on you guys. Entering the sacrificial chamber, because that was the next chamber over, you guys are kind of thinking about what to do. Further down the way you were going led to some definitely interactions with guards. But looking at these tubes or whatever that the Yuan-ti pour the blood through, you guys figured out that you can probably squeeze on through in that, and did some like Apocalypse Now stuff, sinking below. Was that Apocalypse Now or was that Platoon? No, that's Apocalypse Now, where you sink below and then you rise back up and you're looking all crazy, even covered in blood. We did some nice con checks for that. I think everybody wound up passing it. Navarre, I think Navarre almost wound up puking and all that kind of stuff, but he held on just barely. Opened up into the main ceremonial chamber. You guys see a trio of guards standing watching, like, oh shit, how are we going to do this? And then you hear Mung start screaming that, "Hey, Daddy's home," because the harem was right off of the main sacrificial chamber. So Mung screamed like, "Daddy's home, come get it, girls!" And the guards go running after going over towards the harem. And you guys take that moment. You start bolting on down through. Anthony playing side had passed without a trace, and I ruled it while pass without trace is supposed to not leave behind signs that you were there. You guys are all coated in blood, and so I've ruled that you can get the increase of the stealth, but you're going to leave some footprints. So One of the guards did see you guys running away, so he started booking down after you guys. Navarre led you guys to where your gear was because he worked in the storeroom for most of his time there, and um, he's moved your guys' gear several times because the guy that runs the storeroom, he knows where everything is. He just has Navarre there pretty much for company and to eventually eat him. The guy that runs the storeroom is actually an awakened constrictor. Azimaz, I believe, or something like that. I forget the exact name there. But you guys go, you get your gear, and the constrictor wakes up and he's like, what are you doing? Navarre's like, hey, you know, it's kind of a dick move that you're going to eat me, but we'll let you live if you don't narc us out. And the constrictor's like, you know what? Fuck it. I know nothing. He's going to go back. He didn't quite give you much information, though, about going and, you know, what's the best way out of there. He just kind of slithered away and was like, you're on your own. That's where Carr came into play and said, you know what? When I'm cleaning out over in the nest there is some a pathway that leads to a underground lake that we can probably get out of. You guys hurried up and booked that way. You got intercepted by one of the guards. There's shouting going all around. People are running towards the harem. People are trying to come towards you. You guys start trying to take out this guard, but you're a little bit ill-prepared because 2 out of the 4 you guys are casters. So Carr does, what's the gust of wind, pushes the guard a little bit further down the hallway. Obrecht then charges into the guy, pushes him into this like 50-foot deep pit of snakes, and he goes and just goes, the Yuan-ti goes plummeting into there. You guys start running down this rickety old walkway, getting over towards the nesting area of the Yuan-ti. Burst through the door, hurry up and get out just in time. And you guys got to make a decision, go north or south. You opt to go north only to see that it's not the right way. You hurry up, you double back south. As you're crossing past the area, this big old nasty hydra pops up from the water, and that's when the Yuan-ti break into the water, or break into the same area as well. So you have these Yuan-ti and you have this hydra, and like shit just starts breaking out, and like the Yuan-ti are like, you know what? Let's leave them for the hydra. The hydra's like, there's a bunch of yummy Yuan-ti over here. And so you guys are able to get away pretty easily from there. From there, you guys took a look around, trying to find a way to get back in. So you're outside now, outside the palace, trying to figure out how to get back into the palace area to get your cubes, because you have your gear, but you don't have your cubes. And that's when the other trio who have met up with the contact, they notice you guys off in the distance. You guys meet. Everybody's happy together. From there, we went in and actually solved a temple. This one was pretty straightforward, not a lot of trickery or anything like that. You guys are walking around, taking a look. This is the one I think of I don't recall what the animal was on this one. I apologize. But it had 6 statues. Each of the statues was a different animal. It had some sort of cheesy poem or a cheesy riddle that was a super simple answer about a shadow. But that didn't give you much clues. And eventually you guys decided, let's start casting shadows all over the place. And you got to casting shadows with the statues, and that illuminated into or revealed a secret passage that had this reference tiling system type situation there. You took a look at that and you were able to piece together that tiling system was used to solve another riddle within that in conjunction with the riddle. I don't want to give too much there just in case somebody else might be running this or playing it or something like that. Not running it, but playing it. And solved the riddle and got your next puzzle cube. That's where we left off. I liked the roleplay aspects of this one. I didn't like having the 2 separate groups, but I know sometimes that happens. The escape group, I feel a little like I went a little easy on them. I shouldn't say I went a little easy. I definitely went easy on them, but I wanted to get the group back together. The escape group took a little bit longer to get to the escape part than I thought, partly on my side there. The puzzle temple thing, I like that you guys found it out on your own without me dropping hints. If you're running this campaign and you're running, I really forget the name of the temple, damn it, but it's the one with the 6 statues. There's a horrible, the Iblis, right? Yeah, I think it's the Iblis temple now that I think about it. There's this horrible clue about, bow before nobody. The Iblis teaches us to bow before nobody. Papazodal, I think. Yeah, Papazodal teaches us to bow before nobody. And while you can kind of twist around and see how that fits into things, it's not the best of clues. So I feel bad that I dropped that on my team, and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Don't pay attention to that. It's a horrible piss-ass clue. But yeah, we left off there. We have, I think one left. One temple left, and then from there we can start heading into the Tomb of 9 Gods. So I will talk with you guys on Wednesday. Sorry this is so late, and coming to you guys. See ya. Bye.